Hey guys, so I just finished a video that was by request asking for a military story, one that was maybe a little spicy. So I just finished that one. That one is defeating Superman, and I'll post that one first. But in trying to decide which story to tell, there was these two that I just couldn't decide between. I went with Superman, but this other one is kind of like still stuck in my brain. So I thought, let me just make another one, and that way I'll just get it out of my system and then perhaps go back to my normal video stuff, right? So this is that video, and it's probably, I would say, maybe the wildest night that I've ever had, if not a second close. But I'll call this one my story, walking with Sushi. So let's get into this. So I'm in the military. We're in Key West for a couple of weeks, and we had this thing, like when you left the base, you would go to Duval Street, which is the main street in Key West, and there was this clock there. And the thing was, it's kind of like if you make a left, that's all the straight bars. If you make a right, that's all the gay bars. So of course, we were instructed, make a left at the clock. So of course, I make a right. And but I was underage. This was during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So all I did was walk. Like night after night, I would go shopping in the daytime and buy muscle shirts and just walk up and down the street, waiting for something to happen. And then it did. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a drag queen named Sushi. She is like the top drag queen in Key West. For New Year's, they kind of lower her down in the shoe on Duval Street, so maybe you know her. But she was at the door of this bar, so we strike up a conversation, and she goes, hey, why don't you come on in and have a drink? I go in, I'm having drinks, we're just having a great old time. And that's how it was every time I would go out and see her. We would just talk. And so I don't think it was Oktoberfest, it's probably Mardi Gras, but they were having a parade starting from the gay section, ending in the straight section of Duval Street. So she goes, hey, do you want to walk the parade with me? So I said, absolutely, not really thinking about anything, but yeah, sure, of course I want to be in the parade. So she's leading the parade, and I'm there side by side with her. We're walking through this parade. We get into the straight section, and at one point she says something along the lines like, you're a sexy piece of chocolate, or something like that. And as she says this, I look over and I see my supervisor. And she's kind of flirting with him, he's flirting back with her playfully. I freaked out, like, oh my God. So I just kind of looked the other way, and as soon as we went past, I was like, I gotta bounce. So I just kind of went into the parade, the crowd behind, and I'm just trying to be invisible. I met some cool people. I remember this one couple, they were a straight couple, but I thought they were fully clothed, but no, they just had amazing body paint on. It's like, oh, this super cool stuff that I saw. But eventually I get to this point where I'm walking down the street, and there was these two guys walking behind me, and like they're just like super close to me, like in a odd kind of a way close. So I finally like stopped, and I look back like, dude. And one of the dudes, he goes, thick German accent, he goes, we love your hair, can we touch it? It looks really rough. So obviously part of me was like, rough, but I kind of knew it was kind of maybe a language barrier kind of thing, and whatever. So I said, you can touch my hair. So they touch my hair, and I keep walking, but they keep following me, like, and I couldn't shake these dudes off. But as I'm trying to, I walk by, there's this one guy off to my left, and I like just glance over at him, and he was just this beautiful man, right? So it was just a look, but a look that lasted for a bit, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I decided to hide off into this one little gay club, or it's a big gay club off to the left. I go into this club, they're playing Whitney Houston, which that's my girl, if any of you guys know that about me. But I'm like, oh, Whitney Houston. I get on the floor and I'm just dancing, and afterwards, I get off. These two German guys are there, and right when they're about to say something to me, this girl comes along. She goes, "There you are. We've been looking all over for you." So she kind of grabs me and says, "Come on." So I said, "Okay." So I say bye to the guys and I go off with the girl. So she takes me to where the guy that I saw outside, he's now in the club. So she takes me to him. Turns out they're friends. Turns out he goes, "It looks like you needed some help." So I'm like, "Thank you so much." So we're all talking, and then he goes, "Hey, there was a gay cowboy, like a Western bar right across the street from the club." He's like, "Why don't we go over there and just talk, have some without the music?" I said, "Fine." So we go across the street to the Western bar. We're outside in the patio. We start making out, and I won't get too graphic, but I'll just say we end up behind a tree, and he was Portuguese. Oh, so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man. But yeah, so we fooled around, and it turns out that he had a boyfriend. And when he told me that, I'm like, wah wah, He goes, "Oh, but give me your number." I'm like, no, just leave. So the dude leaves. I'm there at the Western bar. These two guys come, and it's empty. Everyone's at the club, so the bar is empty. These two guys come in. One's an older guy, one's a younger, good-looking guy, right? So the older guy starts talking to me, and eventually he tells me that him and the other guy, they're actually a couple, but not really sexual. He says he just likes to watch him do stuff with other guys, and asked me if I would want to do that. And I'm just kind of like, no, like I don't think so. And he ends up offering me money. I'm like, no. He goes, why don't you walk over to my hotel room and just look at it? I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was drunk, so I'm like, okay, fine. I go over to his hotel room. It was right across the street. But it was this beautiful, it's like he had a house, not a room. Freaking huge place. And he's kind of like, so yeah, just in case if you decide, I'll be sitting here on the chair. You guys can be over there in the bed. I promise you, I won't even touch you. I'm just gonna be here. And I'm like, is this freaking happening? So we go back to the bar, and I'm just kind of like, I end up playing pool with the guy, the young guy, and he's trying his best. Like he's going behind me and rubbing up and doing all this stuff, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. So the bartender, he ends up saying something to me like, do you want to lose these guys? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. And he goes, okay, I got you. So he ends up, like, he reaches over, he grabs me, and he yanks me, the bartender does, yanks me to him, and he starts making out with me. And then he says something about me being his boyfriend. And the other guy's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you had a boyfriend. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. So they leave. So I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So then the bartender, he comes around, and again, I'm right by the pool table at this point. So we start kissing. And we're on the pool table. Not like all the way stuff, but stuff. And then he goes, hey, I have to lock up the bar. And he goes, why don't you meet me at this restaurant down the street? It's like, I hope to be done soon, but I don't know. I said, okay, that's fine. So I go to the restaurant, I have an appetizer, I'm just waiting. It seemed like forever, maybe it wasn't, maybe I was just drunk, but I go to use the bathroom. On my way back, I passed this guy who, I don't know why I think of him, like just Jesus pops into my head. He didn't have long hair, he had hazel eyes, but something about him, I don't know, it gave me Jesus vibes. I don't know why, but he was a beautiful man, another beautiful man. So I think, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to the barracks. It must have been like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning by this point. I'm like, I probably just need to go to bed. So I pay off my bill, I go to leave, and Jesus is out there waiting for me. And he has one of those you know, the bicycle with the carriage in the back, you know, where they kind of take you around up and down the street. And he goes, I have this ride for you if you want to come take a ride with me. I was like, okay. So I get into the carriage, takes me to his hotel room, or to the hotel, and he had a bunch of folks like in the room. They were all sharing the room together. So we kind of stayed out in the pool area. So we end up skinny dipping, right? We take off our clothes, get in the pool, we start fooling around in the pool. We come out, we start fooling around on the beach chairs. Then I look around and there are people, there are dudes like at different parts all around the pool just watching us and doing stuff as they're, you know, to themselves as they're watching us. Yeah, that happened. I never thought I'd be in a situation like that. Totally reads like a porno, but that freaking happened. Afterwards, I don't know what time it is, but I know that it started to become daylight. I'm like, oh man, I need to go back, I need to go to work. So I leave and I'm in a rush. I'm like, bye, thank you for night, bye. I take off and I realize I don't know where I'm at. Like, you know, I have no clue where on this island I'm at and where I need to go to. But I end up going to, I reached the cemetery and I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I have to cross the cemetery to get close to where I need to go. So as I'm crossing the cemetery, I'm almost at the end and I hear a dog barking. I look and the dog is coming after me. So I'm just like, oh shoot. I just start running. The dog is chasing me. I jump over the gate. Thankfully, the dog didn't catch up to me in time. But it was kind of like one of those, I felt like I was in a movie because I jump over the cement block. I'm like, I turn around and there's a Cuban cafe. So I just waltzed in there like nothing happened. I have a Cuban coffee. And I started thinking about my life and that night and just like, okay, I'm like, well, that was a little bit too crazy. Maybe you need to check yourself. But it was just, everything was just super cool. I had a ham and cheese sandwich with eggs for breakfast and we just walked back to the barracks and continued on with the rest of my stay in Key West. But yeah, that was, for me at least, maybe you guys, I would love to hear if you guys can outdo me and have better stories, please tell me. But that was a wild night for me. I hope you enjoyed it. This is not about lesson or anything like that. This is just having fun and just letting you guys know a different side of me. So I hope you like, subscribe, and more importantly, comment.